Hello and welcome to this round 6 here at Grand Prix Utrecht in the Netherlands. In our feature match this round we have a couple of players at 4-1. On the left of our screen that's Robin Doar, and he is up against member of team Channel Fireball Fire, smiling Martin User. There he is, ready to get things started, and a couple of different takes on the format here. On the right hand side of our screen we can see that User appears to be, at first blush, on one of the big decks of the format, that being Mardu Vehicles. Heart of Kiran, a bit of a clue there. Yeah. On the other side of things, though, it looks like we have something a little bit more controlling. Not a big surprise coming from Robbie Dollars, but nonetheless, a blue-based control deck is something that we've seen in terms of Teamer energy. We've not yet seen a red-blue energy deck. It will be interesting to find out whether or not he is 3 colors. Looking at his hand, it's basically mono-blue.
It's mono-anticipate. It seems that way. He just has, I think, 3 anticipates in his hand, so it's certainly interesting. And Martin User yesterday on Twitter, he was like, should I play the deck that I should be playing or the more fun deck? I think this is not the fun one.
Yeah, I would suggest similar. Veteran motorist coming down for Martin User. With Dynavolt Tower in play, it's not too difficult for Robin Dolar to end up with lots of energy to spend in order to be able to use that Dynavolt Tower with extreme prejudice to kill off basically every creature that Martin User gets down. And with a couple of anticipates, he can start doing that from this turn if he wants to. Looks like User going with the old-fashioned creatures behind lands layout. We'll see if we can get that one fixed up for you. As standard, we like to keep things lands in the back, action in the front for the way that we get things laid out here. There we go.
And I know Martin's used to playing with cards like this, but sometimes you
players like to have fun in the feature match area, and I've got no issues with that. Attack for 3 here coming in from the veteran motorist. Robin Dolar says, "Yeah, I'll take that. There's time."
Yeah, you can see when Martin used to play the turn 1 Shambling Vent, Robin was like, "What? You're playing Shambling Vent? What is this?" And then he saw it's just the Mardu Vehicles. I'm surprised Robin actually is going for the straight blue red version. I'm not surprised, of course, he's playing control because that's what Robin Dollar does. But yeah, now he's towering it up here.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw Robin playing was around the time that Sphinx's Revelation was the hot new stuff in Standard, and he certainly deployed that as well as anyone. Sees a couple of copies of Harness Lightning and a Shock here off the top from that second copy of Anticipate. Already up to 5 energy, so Dynavolt Tower all charged up.
Yeah, and there's going to be more energy coming with all those instants in his hand. His more Anticipates even. Yeah, he's already killing the veteran motors with the Dynamo Tower, not wanting to use the Harness Lightning to kill it and maybe gain some energy. But I assume this game is going to go long if Robin is winning it. And Martin just looked like he drew way too many lands, unfortunately.
And unfortunately for him as well, if he just draws removal spells, he's not going to find very many targets in the deck that Robin Dolar's got going on, meaning that those draws not as exciting. Heart of Kiran here, without a creature to crew it, not looking quite as special.
Yeah.
Another Anticipate from Dolar.
Yeah, he's probably digging for a Glimmer of Genius, another Harness Lightning there.
And he might just take a land here.
Yeah.
His deck is definitely one that's happy casting multiple spells in a single turn. Yep, does go for an island.
I'm keen to see if he's going to ever find a target for the Revolutionary rebuff.
Disallow, another great card to just hold your mana up for one of the better 3 mana counters around.
Especially against the opponent who doesn't have much action going on. But if Martin can draw like a Scrap Heap Scrounger would be really good here, just because it's like a creature that's hard to deal with for the Blue-Red Dynamo Tower deck. And is Robin going to add one more tower? Yeah, there we go.
It's the sequel, the 2 towers.
Now we should probably get a little more comfortable here because it looks like we're going to head into a long couple of games here. As Martin kind of like trying to figure out like how he can win this. A Shambling Vent is his plan. Look, he's not very much amused. Like a small smirk. He's like, yeah, just swing at you for 2. In a way, calling Robin's bluff.
His spy bluff canal.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, Robin definitely does have a fair amount of removal. Don't know whether or not he really wants to play too much of it on a shambling vent just yet.
I mean, this game's very strange. It's usually not how this matchup ends up playing out at all. Yeah, now Robin Dolar after looks like after combat. Whoa. I'm not sure if the life tools are correct. I don't think there's a way for Robin Dolar to actually gain life.
Yeah, we may have just got a little mixed up there. We'll get that one fixed up for you. Robin Dolar gets the intense delight of just holding counter magic when your opponent doesn't really have any action and just sitting there waiting to see what happens. Also an onboard removal spell.
Yeah. Yeah, Robin used to be a gold level pro, and he used to be part of the testing team with Martin User, but actually he fell off the train a little bit over the last couple of years because of like university, and he really couldn't go to that many GPs, so it was harder for him to get points. And this might be part of the reason, like he's playing blue-red tower, because it seems decent, like tower deck seems really decently positioned, but he must have not gotten the memo that he should be playing green as well for the teamer version. And it's sometimes what happens when you fall off a big team, where information is being shared a lot, and that you don't get all the latest tech, and you played a little outdated version of your deck.
Yeah, I mean, as things stand, he's certainly not in bad shape in this game.
No.
I mean, we've discussed earlier on that we believe the reason for green being so good in these Dynavolt Tower decks is that you get access to Attune with Ether, which gets you more lands and more energy, upping your spell count without making you feel like you're running out of lands. You also get very good quality artifact removal. Yeah,
but Robin looks to be firmly set in this game anyway. He just drew his 4th Anticipate, and if that finds a glimmer of genius, I don't think there's a way back for Martinusa. Or even if the Anticipate yields Torrential Gear Hulk, it's going to be brutal. He's like, yep, keep going. Just triple Wandering Fumarole.
So sometimes it's nice not to have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Also, Wandering Fumarole, a fine addition. It means that, in principle, he can start attacking at some point if he wants.
Yeah, he drew the Glimmer of Genius now, so it's going to go even deeper. And Martin just casually with 6 cards in his hand. There's a Fatal Push here and there. I see a Toolcraft Exemplar. But I'm just wondering if Martin is just not trying to bait out as much information from Robin here. He might just go for like one big turn, trying to see as many cards as possible. But Martin's still a fair way of losing here, even though on board at least, because the cards in Robin Dolar's hand just seem to match up that much better.
All right, so there's another creature on deck now. That is Toolcraft Exemplar hitting the battlefield. Can't help but think that it's not long for this world, though.
Feels that way.
I'd be stunned if we get all the way through the beginning of combat triggers resolving.
Yeah, same here. Are these better motors here for Martin?
Yeah, that one will at least get him a Scry 2, though we know that Robin Dolar has plenty of removal in hand. I guess there's a temptation to just counter this one if you're concerned about allowing that Scry.
No. It's going to resolve. I mean, Robin Dolar has double Harness Light and double Shrug, I think, in his hand. Glimmer of Genius.
He has it all. He has the earth and everything on it in his hand.
Yeah, plus double tower, of course. Like, he just needs, I think, Torrential Gear Hulk, potentially with some counter magic up, to really assert his advantage. But he can Glimmer of Genius into more cards here. I think Martin has a Gideon in his hand. A License Disintegration, Fatal Push. I think he's going to try for the Gideon here, and Robin Dolar will be delighted that he can just play a Revolutionary Rebuff on this card. Martin, I think, is going to get a good chuckle out of that.
Yeah, not too often that your counter target non-artifact spell unless your opponent pays two, is still relevant when they have 8 lands in play, but we found a way. And 14 energy at this point. At some point, these Dynavolt Towers are going to start aiming at the face.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bold city here, especially once we get to see a Glimmer.
This Glimmer of Genius generating 6 energy.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Robin is marking his energy counters by increments of 5.
And it makes it a little bit easier just to immediately figure out in your head, yep, you know what, I'll take these 2 Glimmer of Genius on my Glimmer of Genius. This seems reasonable.
Yep, just kill everything.
Yeah, no attacking for you, Martin.
It's actually pretty funny. It's just like Glimmer of Genius into Glimmer of Genius into Glimmer of Genius.
This is how he drew it up.
Yeah, shoot your face, Glimmer of Genius, lightning bolt you.
Okay, well, a fairly unexciting looking Thraben Inspector. That one might hang around for a little bit.
Finally a Scrap Heap Scrounger for Martin.
Scrap Heap Scrounger is definitely one of the more problematic cards for Red-Blue to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. Especially no access to greens, meaning no access to natural obsolescence. And just overall, I don't think Robin is running the Shielded Ether Thieves that the team reversions are running. Like, I guess I'll attack.
Heart of Kieran gets attacked in itself.
Yep. Gets total of 7 energy. Spends 4 to kill the Heart of Kieran.
It's interesting. There are a lot of energy cards that don't really stack up very well in multiples. Normally, it's either a way of generating or a way of spending energy. Dynavolt Tower, you're quite happy to have multiples because you generate so much energy then from every spell, and sometimes you can use them both on the same turn.
Yep. The Glimmer, another tower. Oh, okay, he goes for it. He keeps the third tower. I mean, it makes sense. He has another another Glimmer as well.
Yeah, if you thought that things were going to get messy before.
Yeah. It's going to get even worse now. And, I mean, if Robin really wanted to, he has, like, Wandering Fumarole to also block, even though Martin will just snap off any removal spell on that if he sees it.
Yeah, getting a chance to use an Unlicensed Disintegration on literally anything is fantastic for him. So with 3 Dynavolt Towers, that means that any spell that gets cast is 2 Lightning Bolts, in addition to whatever it is naturally.
It's 6 energy, so it's...
one Lightning Bolt and a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. But it's basically every spell gets... turns into a Lightning Bolt as well. I think Robin is already making the math of, like, if he can actually kill Martin User with just Lightning Bolts here. You can see that he has 19 energy.
I mean, each of those dice that's on a 5 is a Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, so that's 9 damage already. So that's Martin is down to 10.
And Martin here, he's patient with this. There are other players who maybe sort of scoop up at some point when they see how many cards ahead the control player is.
No,
it's still possible that Robin Dolar has drawn a lot of lands and not much else. It's not very likely, though, given the amount of scrying that's been going on.
And now I think Robin Dolar can just play a tower, double shock Martin, put him to 9, and then triple tower him. At 6, that's another 6 energy, and then it's like boom, boom, boom. You're on 9. I have 3 towers. Shoot you. That was cute.
I like that. I'm a fan. Good job, Robin Dolar, picking up game 1 there. In relatively straightforward fashion, though, it must be noted that Martin User's start was not exciting in that game.
Certainly not. Like, he drew way too many lands, not much action, and by the time he started, I think Martin's just now telling him the story of what hand he kept and what cards he kept drawing, because, I've known both players for quite a while, so...
We're getting a chance to look in on one of our other games going on here. Simon Neelson on the left of our screen on just 2 live here against Yusuf Kamala. Neelson will be joining Rich in the booth for a sweet feature match, walked from a round or so ago, to talk through that one. So do stay with us after we've got our live matches finished, because you know what? The one that Neelson is going to get a chance to talk about is a really nice one. Not something we've seen on camera already, but there's some interesting post-sideboard games here. Also, this is pre-sideboard. We've got a Sky Sovereign in play. That a little bit unusual from Mardu Vehicles.
And look at the work it's doing, taking down Thalia right away through that attack.
Threatening to take down Gideon by the looks of things too, unless Heart of Kiran wants to get crude here.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be attacking. What is it going to be attacking? It looks like Simon's just showing off his watch here.
And I guess that the problem is he's on 2. He's going to have something for Heart of Kiran, or it will just simply kill him.
Yeah.
Unless it's Disintegration in hand, maybe?
That would be great. Okay, no, he's tapping out. He has his own Heart of Kiran. And he goes for another Knight ally. If Yusuf has an unlicensed Disintegration of his own there, he can top deck 1. Remember, Yusuf Kemal won GP Prague just a couple of weeks ago. Very nice player from Turkey. What are they talking about? Seems strange. Okay, so crew Heart of Kiran. Ooh, fatal push on the Heart of Kiran. And what? That was a little awkward. Handshake. No, wait, this was game 1. It just took so long that I think Simon got a bit rattled there. It's like, oh, wait, no. We're still going to keep playing.
Yep, that's fair enough. I mean, they can shake hands now if they want, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot.
Exactly. Usually, a shake of hands means that one player is scooping. Yeah,
done with the match. Yeah.
Yeah, he's conceding the match.
I mean, after game 1, Martin User might well feel like he's in bad shape. But ultimately, if you say that the perfect Mardu Vehicles draw involves a 1-drop, then either a couple more 1-drops or a vehicle, and then maybe a 2 cost and a 1 cost on turn 3.
Sure.
That's not remotely close to what User was able to assemble.
Yeah. I mean, one of the best cards that Martin can deploy here is the Straski Scourger, especially on turn 2. And we saw that Robin Doar doesn't run the Shield Ether Thieves, but he has the Ether Meltdown, so -4, -0. And it can actually be pretty useful against even against the Heart of Kiran or similar cards. So there's certainly ways for Robin Doar to grind out the game to the state that we saw in game 1, even under normal circumstances. But he was definitely helped by Martin's poor draw in game 1.
So Robin Dolar just double checking his sideboard before we get on to this second game. Martin User will be on the play in this next game, and Mardu Vehicles can really exploit that advantage.
Oh yeah.
Get down an early creature and get in a few points of damage before Dolar's deck has too much to go with. Though the addition of Shock to the red-blue control decks doesn't seem like that big a deal on the face of things, but just having a one-mana way of interacting can be pretty big. Yeah,
Shock is a good card, but the big problem with Shock is that it doesn't match up that well against Winding Constrictor. And this is one of the biggest downside of this removal spell. And for example, why the 4-color Sahil decks are running the Oath of Chandras rather than Shocks, because one of their biggest problem was killing something with 3 toughness. Looks like Martin has a much better composition of land spell for this game. I think I see double Inspiring Vantage and a Concealed Courtyard alongside a Toolcraft Exemplar, a Gideon, and I think a Scrabby Scrounger as well. So even if there was only a 6-card hand, this would be pretty perfect.
Yep, that's how we drew it up, and Robin Dolar is on a mulligan here. This is where Mardu Vehicles really shines. It's one of those aggro decks that can punish bad draws better than almost any other in the format. Yeah, and now there's a smile back on the user's face.
Yeah, of course. He's also like waving at us. I'm sure Martin knows that I'm enjoying casting a match of 2 people I can call friends. But of course, Martin doesn't like losing. That's for sure. And people were making fun of him a little bit about how he was all smiley during the last Pro Tour. It was because he was winning a lot, and he did make the top 8 there.
He had a fantastic run at that Pro Tour. I got a chance to speak to him there and stood by him as he was announced into the top 8. It's been a little while prior to that since he had his last top 8.
A little while. It was 8 years. Or 6.5 years. No, 7.5 years.
Well, and you've been playing as long as we have.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember being at both PTs that Martin top 8'd.
You top 8'd one of those two,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, so... and with the deck that was given to me by Martin, so...
Convenient. Toolcraft Exemplar getting stuck in for a full 3 thanks to Scrap Heap Scrounger coming down on turn 2 from Martin User. The first play from Robin Dolar, though, Thing in the Ice. That one can clean up the board quite nicely, and we know that there are plenty of non-creature spells in Robin Dolar's deck to remove those ice counters.
Oh, I like it. It's a good innovation. But it's like these Thing in the Ice are very common to bring in from the sideboard because you usually expect people are going to board out their removal spells in their Mardu vehicles that can bring in Planeswalkers and just some heavy hitters. Thing in the Ice can actually turn very much into your favor nicely.
Well, this almost a perfect start from Martin User in stark contrast to last game. He gets the turn 1, the turn 2. On turn 3, just a Heart of Kieran. I say just, it's one of the most powerful cards in Standard right now. And another Scrap Heap Scrounger to crew the Heart of Kieran. There's going to have to be something from Robin Dolar here, or he's just going to find himself way behind in this game.
Yeah, the beats just keep on coming, and Robin Dolar on the draw with the mulligan has a hard time keeping up here. It's going to take 7 here. Unless he has something good.
Dolar looking at what he's got going on, and the answer is not a whole lot. Thing in the Ice can probably block relatively happily. Not too much to punish from User's deck, I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, I think Robin's going to try to dig for a shock here to kill the Exemplar at least and stem the bleeding. No, just the Harness Lightning. It's a little bit slow here on the draw. Robin Dolar takes 7 here.
And that means that he is facing lethal next turn.
Yeah. I mean, next turn, I think he has land, so he'll be able to play the Harness Lightning. Okay, he drew a shock here as well. So that makes it even better. I think he has the Revolutionary Rebuff in his hand too. But it might have been a mistake. No, he does have a rebuff. So that means that if Martin tries to go for the Gideon, Robin can rebuff and then he can Harness Lightning away the Heart of Kieran while still being able to block one of the creatures coming through.
And that also means that Thing in the Ice just one ice counter away from transforming.
We'll see what Martin does here because he can simply just decide to attack. He also has a Chandra and a Pia. A lot of good cards there. Martin has to go in the tank. Martin couldn't beat Mardu in the top 8 of the PT, so if can't beat them, join them.
It's interesting, actually. Going into that top 8, he felt like he had a good matchup against Mardu, with the exception of the deck that he found himself up against, Eduardo Sajgalek's list that had 4 main deck Fatal Push.
Yeah.
So as far as he was concerned, it was a little bit of an unfortunate matchup in the quarterfinals, or the first stage quarterfinals, should I say. But ultimately, he was still pretty happy with his performance, and it's hard to argue with that.
So here's the Gideon, and here's the rebuff.
Once again, it looks likely that Heart of Kieran going to get crewed here.
Yeah, the problem is Robin doesn't have any extra energy to kill off the Heart of Kieran with the Harness Lightning. No, an Ether Hub would have been great for Robin. Fortunately, not getting there.
So User having a little bit of a think here. Is there something to be said for simply attacking with creatures rather than crewing?
No, I mean he could. He might be scared of double shock here, but I don't think it's very likely to happen. So I think Martin would just proceed the regular way.
He maybe should be carefully figuring out the exact way to explain the fact that he wants to crew a Toolcraft Exemplar once the trigger is resolved.
Yeah, and especially this is also especially important because Martin User sees that the Harness Lightning cannot kill the Heart of Kieran, but it could kill something else. Okay, we'll see a shock though on Toolcraft Exemplar.
Shock does
before that.
Yeah, does mean that any crewing that's going on is not going to come from this Toolcraft Exemplar.
precisely. All right.
So the attack's coming through now, not actually very large. Still, with Robin Dolar's life total, important attacks, but
there's the Ether Hub.
Right on time.
Not.
Okay, so up to 1 energy now, and 1 counter remaining on that thing in the ice. So any spell from Robin Dolar will transform it. And the tricky bit, I guess, here is that because he's on such a low life total, user doesn't need to crew up the Heart of Kiran this turn.
No, not at all. But he also, if Martin just doesn't go, he should still probably play something that could crew the heart.
Oh, there's a Chandra in hand.
Yeah, there is. Robin can still play the Harness Lightning and take down one of the Scroungers. But I don't think Martin would mind that much. I don't think it would be that big of a problem. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Right. Step 1, attack with both Scrap Heap Scroungers. That forces the issue from Robin Dolar. He has to have something here.
Okay, he's going to go for the Glimmer here. Okay, both Scroungers could bounce here. But this... Robin Dolar could have gone for the Harness Lightning, and I like that move in a way that because it feels a little bit safe. But now Martin can play Chandra plus her, put Robin down to 1, while still having the Heart of Kiran to potentially protect her. It's close. It's definitely close. There are decisions to be made. Martin, if he has an untapped land, no, he only has a tapped land. He can still just play double Scrounger here, which I think is a little bit safer. Yeah, just developing his board further, because playing the Chandra here, while nice and putting Robin down to 1, ultimately wouldn't get him anywhere, especially against the removal spell. Because his Heart of Kiran on defense would get blown up by the Harness Lightning. So I like this move. And now the ball is firmly in Robin Dolar's court again. Okay, deal with these Scroungers, or you die.
There are the mana and the spells to deal with these creatures, but both of these are able to crew Heart of Kiran. So effectively all 3 of these cards need to be dealt with. Awoken Horror can block on the ground, but Heart of Kiran doesn't need to worry too much about that. Cultivator's Caravan here, the play from Martin user. Just more and more threats piling onto the board for the Mardu Vehicles deck. Robbie Dolar's having a little bit of a think about this Cultivator's Caravan. He does have the option to disallow, though not enough blue mana to be able to use both of his copies of that counterspell in 1 turn.
Right. There's the P as well. I think that's going to prompt Robin into action with a disallow.
Yeah, disallow an effective answer here, because you don't really want to have then have 2 creatures to deal with. 1, that kind of works. The second one, that's a bit more problematic.
Yeah, now Martin has the same decision as the turn before, but now he's facing off against a 7/8 from the flip thing in the ice. Yeah, still not crewing that Heart of Kiran. Smart, because he's going to see that, yep, Harness Lightning that, block the other.
Well, this is a triumph. Robin Dolar still alive.
Yeah, but he's still kicking and fighting. Ooh, okay. Release the Gremlins. That's a card.
Very much so.
Cultivator's Caravan in play 2.
Blow up 2 artifacts on the other side of the board. Make a pair of 2/2 Gremlins. I like this.
I like this too. Plus swing in for 7. That's a clock 2. Now Robin Dolar's like, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, if you're the control player, tapping out to let your shields be down is never a particularly happy play, but at least if you're dealing with 2 of your opponent's threats, generating 2 creatures in the process,
yeah, exactly.
That's a 4 for 1.
Yeah. I mean, he does have the counter magic up, so he's probably thinking that maybe he can blow up 1 only and keep up counter spell mana. But the Cultivator's Caravan also generates mana, so I would just blow up both and create a board that I like. Robin, this also allows him, to better play around the potentially top deck unlicensed disintegration.
I mean, also just the fact that there are 2 scrap heap scroungers in the graveyard.
Exactly.
You can't
Yeah.
afford to let vehicles hang around.
And 2 gremlins incoming for Robin Dolar.
Turns out that they were just playing around in all those vehicles anyway.
I love me some gremlins.
Everybody does. Every right-thinking human.
I wasn't convinced, but then Magic the Amateuring made a very good case for gremlins, and I was sold.
Fair. Well, there's another copy of Heart of Kiran. I can only ever have 1 in play per person, of course. It is legendary. But Martin User took his first hit there. Harness Lightning and Disallow alongside that Ether Hub in hand for Robin Dolar.
So Robin's still not out of the woods yet. He'll just keep attacking with his big flip thing in the ice.
Martin User on 6 though. He only needs to get 1 more hit in with that Awoken Horror to close this game out. And these Scrap Heap Scroungers in the graveyard, they will do nothing to aid Martin User's blocking beyond being able to jump in a Heart of Kiran.
Yeah.
We know that that's not likely to work out, of course.
Gideon, Chandra in Martin's hand. But Robin, I think, has the game on lockdown with both Disallow and Harness Lighting at his disposal.
It's kind of crazy the way that this game's played out.
Right?
There was so much of this game where it looked like Martin User was doing exactly what Mardu Vehicles wants to be doing. Gets Robin Dolar down to 3, and then Thing in the Ice finally gets around to transforming, and now we've got a real battle on our hands.
Yeah, the Vulcan Horror just flipped the game completely on its head because suddenly Robin Dolar got the initiative, got a big creature on the board, and then top decking that release the Gremlins was the most important part because it just eliminated a big part of the Martin's threats while giving Robin a bigger board presence. Just made sure that Robin didn't have to expend any of his cards in his hand, that now when the key turn of the game is going to happen, he can use them to stay alive.
Yeah, those Gremlins, they haven't attacked, they haven't blocked, they've just given Robin Dolar that little cushion of safety, knowing that he can handle at least a few attackers, and they've left Martin User with a more difficult set of decisions as to how he's meant to force through damage.
All right.
Here's Gideon.
Disallow.
There we go. No Gideons for you. Not today.
And now Martin's is hoping, I really hope your last card is not Harness Lightning, but it is.
And there's the handshake. Robin Dolar taking it down in 2 where it looked certain that it was going to go to 3 games just a few turns earlier. Martin User had a fantastic start, but it was Robin Dolar with the big finish there, able to take things down with Red-Blue Dynavolt Tower. Nobody tell him that there's a new version of this deck. He seems to be doing just fine with the 2 colors.
Yeah. Moves up to 5-1. Still already picked up a loss, but I remember he only had 2 buys at most. So, yeah, doing pretty well. 3-1 so far after picking up this win. And just have a look if there's something else going on. All the other matches still seem to be going on. Even the Straski Dominguez match in the back will get moved onto the main table once they're in between games, which it looks like they are.
You can see Simon Neelson there. He's playing his match at the moment. And Neelson against Yusuf Kemal Vefa, he is actually going to be able to come into the booth and do a little bit of commentary for us with Rich Hagen after he finishes this match. They're currently 1-1 there. We have a sweet match for him to commentate on.
Okay.
Where we're getting the pros in to commentate on matches, we're trying to make sure they've got some really good games to talk about. And Rich teased to me a few details of it. And let me say, I'm not going to give anything away, but it sounds like a nice one.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
Veteran motorist coming from Vefa. Meanwhile, we have the Heart of Kiran from Simon Neelson.
Simon lost game 1 in a very close game 1, but managed to pull it back in game 2. So now the key game 3 is we'll see if being on the plate is as deciding as the pros say. All the white-black lands for Simon Neelson here.
Not ideal, because a large amount of the removal in the Mardu Vehicles deck does require a little bit of red mana, whether it be Shock or Harness Lightning or Unlicensed Disintegration. generally speaking, if you're just with the black-white cards, then you're all right at attacking, but not necessarily at doing all of the other moves.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem here because Simon would like to play the concealed courtyard first because that would be his third land. It would come into play untapped, but it wouldn't allow him to play a Palo Exemplar that he has in his hand. But yeah, now he has to play it because otherwise he wouldn't be able to deploy Gideon on the following turn because this concealed courtyard would come into play tapped. So just a scrappy scrounger and doesn't attack with the Heart of Kiran there.
I mean, Heart of Kiran faces off fairly well as a blocker against what Yusuf Kemal Vefa has going on.
For now. But he also, Yusuf had a 1 black mana untapped, and if Yusuf has a Fatal Push, Simon would prefer if Yusuf spend the mana on his own turn for that. And I do see a Fatal Push in Yusuf's hand.
Well, in the Battle of Mardu vehicles, in almost any battle involving Mardu vehicles, one of the key swing cards for me always ends up being Unlicensed Disintegration.
Yeah.
Removal plus 3 points of damage just really does swing games. We will see whether or not it comes up for either player here. At the moment, it looks like Gideon is shuffled to the front of Simon Neelson's hand here. 17 life apiece, and here comes a Planeswalker.
Creating a 2/2 Knight Ally token, and let's see what Yusuf can follow up with. I think I see a Fatal Push that he just drew. He also has an Archangel Avacyn, but I don't think he has a 5th land. He also has Gideon of his own, but I think he just wants to keep the board parity as much as possible and got rid of Gideon. I don't think our life tools are being updated correctly because I think Simon attacked for 3 the previous turn with the Scrappy Scrounger and did so today. Oh, there. All right, already down to 11. Yeah.
There we go. A couple of chunks coming out there.
So let's see if Simon actually is going to go for. Ooh, does he have Sky Sovereign? No, he's going to get.
He's releasing some gremlins.
Destroying his own creature too while he's at it.
Interesting.
It's creative.
Talk us through that play for a second.
Well, he wants to spend his mana as efficiently as possible, and the Scrappy Scrounger is not a blocker of any kind, so destroying his own creature just makes sure he gets another gremlin. He cannot bring it back, though, anytime soon, just because he has no creatures in his graveyard, so I am not that convinced with this play. But I guess he has his reasons, because reasons.
And here comes Gideon Ally of Zendikar, along with a Knight Ally token, something I found myself saying approximately 1,000 times a tournament for the last couple of years. It's a very, very powerful card in Standard right now. Fatal Push in hand for Simon Neelson, which could deal with one of the creatures in play, and Gideon of his own if he wants to load the board with tokens.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I believe Simon will Fatal Push the Vetter Motorist, swing with both gremlins at the Gideon. Yusuf will trade, and then Simon will land his own Gideon as with a 2/2 alongside it, even though that it is also very risky because if then Yusuf has the removal spell for the Knight Ally, that's pretty risky. So I think he's just going to play the Gideon, make it 2/2 and pass the turn because that's just much less of a risk against a potential removal spell from Yusuf's side.
And of course that does still leave up mana for Fatal Push.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Difficult to get too punished here.
Yeah, but Yusuf now has 5 mana and that Archangel Avacyn. He even drew a 6th source.
Now, of course, we know that Vefa does have Archangel Avacyn in hand. He's got the mana to cast her now. How much does that do to change his attack step here?
I'm not sure if that changes it at all. The game will not end this turn or the next one, so both players might just end up playing it very slow. Knight Allies for everyone.
Yeah, we are edging toward a very busy board here. At some point, someone may even put an emblem in play.
Yep. I think it might be Yusuf because I think he has another Gideon in his hand. We'll see though. That's veteran motorist. And then the Paula as well.
And he could go for all three. Maybe not the fatal push just yet.
No. I think he'll hold off on that. But I think Yusuf is going to be in a good spot because he'll have that Avacyn to attack the Gideon in the air soon enough. Simon's going to try to dig into some good stuff with the veteran motorist.
Sees a fatal push and another copy of Release the Gremlins. Less targets now for Release the Gremlins, and fatal push, well, he's already got one of them. He's already pretty much made up his mind on how good or bad that card is for this board.
I think he's going to ship both cards to the bottom.
It looks like it. Danish player, of course, was a member of the World Magic Cup winning team. Got to draw the Dane Blast and deploy it against Team Greece in order to take that title.
Yeah, that really kick-started his career. He also had a GP Finals performance in Brussels last year. And just finished in the top 25 of Pro Tour Eldritch Moon. Yeah, just doing solid overall. He will get to play the Magic Online Championship Series tournament next week alongside a lot of very good players.
It's an absolute murderer's row of talent that tournament, all flying out to Seattle for next weekend. Do tune into twitch.tv/magic to get a chance to check out all of that coverage. But here comes Avacyn in order to make sure that the Knight Ally token is able to block Gideon just fine.
And I think Simon might kill something before the indestructible trigger resolves. I like that Simon plussed Gideon and attack with it because now that means that Yusuf cannot just attack with the Avacyn and take it down. And just cripple it. I mean, he could actually get the Gideon emblem to make the Avacyn a 5/5 and then play another Gideon. I also quite like that play if he has another one in his hand, which I think we saw.
We are going to see fatal push this time on veteran motorist.
And still the power.
All right. Busy boards on both sides. Simon Neelson a little behind on life and on flyers.
Yeah, but if Yusuf goes for the emblem, which he does, he now has a 5/5 Avacyn, and both his Knight allies are 3/3s. Those match up very well against this board. Yep. Takes out the Gideon, plays another Gideon, makes another Knight ally token. His board is formidable.
So Avacyn not ready to transform just yet.
No, nothing dying, but I don't think there's any need for that. And looks like Simon is just digging for something here. Veteran Morris finding a Walking Ballista and an Ether Hub. I believe the Ether Hub is going to go to the bottom. And it just doesn't seem like anything that Simon wants. I believe he's digging for an unlicensed disintegration just to try to get rid of the Avacyn here. Just going to swing in for a lot of damage. This turn is just 5, but next turn with another Gideon emblem it could be lethal already.
Just looks like we resolve it. Just double checking that on the Avacyn flipping here, because veteran motorist did get killed off.
No, that was still in response to
of course,
the Avacyn, to the indestructible trigger on the turn before. So we're still not in danger just yet. Yeah, there's a Knight ally. How nice of Simon. He's a very nice chap. Very enjoyable to play against him.
Also does stream on Twitch from time to time. Declaration in Stone dealing with this
Jeez.
Archangel Avacyn.
Good draw. And here's a clue.
Just replace that. Your clue's in the shape of a stony Archangel Avacyn.
Yeah, but still, it's not that great of not that great anyway, because Simon's down to 6 and Yusuf remember still has the Gideon emblem, so. Yep, uses the Paul's ability, becomes tapped, whiffs, on any semblance of a good card there. Looks like Yusuf will sack the clue to get a card in his hand. And I think he's close enough to winning because remember, he still also has that Scrap Heap Scrounger. He has the much bigger life total. His opponent is tapped out. So I think if he brings that back to Scrounger, he's going to get that blocked and 2 more. And he can then attack for 6 with the 3/3 Knight allies. He could even also make the Gideon attack as well. Even if he doesn't block. Yeah, okay. Even without blocks, that dies. Yeah, Yusuf was just explaining, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah, and Scrappy Scrounger comes back, and that's enough damage for Yusuf Kamal Vefa, the GP Prague winner, to take down Simon Neelson.
He's showing that he's got some moves in all the formats because, of course, Prague was limited. Now we're talking constructed. He's advancing to 5-1 here. A nice position to be in here after 6 rounds. Of course, day 1 of the GP, 9 rounds. Everyone at 6-3 or better does make it through. We're going to get a chance to jump across, though, and see some more magic, in this case between Andre Straski and Javier Dominguez. Both these players 5-0, looking to keep their unbeaten records alive. Straski on Teamer Energy, already with that Shielded Ether Thief and Whirler Virtuoso in play. On the other side of things, it's Mardu vehicles for Javier Dominguez, with a lone Thraben Inspector in play. The life totals, though, very much in favor of Javier.
Yeah. I mean, you thought Standard was boring. We already saw a completely new archetype in Teamer Energy being played by a lot of pros here this tournament and doing decently well. And we also saw some cool Paradox Engine decks in the earlier rounds, and I think there's still some floating around the top tables. And I think this format, while on the surface people will just say, oh, Standard and one of those Twitch emotes, the random ones. But ultimately, it's a skill-intensive format, and it is fun to play because there are a lot of decisions to be made, and the games are pretty swingy, so it creates for interesting scenarios.
So Straski here, he's got 8 energy with 2 Whirler Virtuosos and Shielded Ether Thief. He has a lot of different ways of spending that energy. And of course, with cards in hand, still in this game, but Needle Spires gets to attack in a little bit here.
Yeah. I see Twitch chat helping me out with the emotes. Brokeback, What Face, Ella Giggle, thank you very much. You all know how to make me smile.
I'm still a big fan of the various Wooberg emotes for you subscribers.
Wooberg Sloth.
Wooberg Sloth.
That's the best
the
one.
truth.
Yeah, Wooberg is
also,
the
we have all of these Thopters coming into play for Andre Straski here. Wants to make sure that he's able to keep things going. His board getting a little messy as these players speed up, trying to power through this game. Javier Dominguez just watching on as Straski's board explodes in scale.
Yeah, and look at the backup. Double Glimmer of Genius, double Anticipate. I'm pretty sure Andre can find some good cards. He's missing a tower to really take advantage of this, but yeah. Down to 5 though, Straski. Yeah, Unlicensed Disintegration or 2 could really swing this around.
Javier Dominguez just having a look through, seeing how many counter spells and how many cheap instants have already been played. I guess that there's also the concern, I don't know if he knows the exact list, but he's got to be thinking a bit about Torrential Gearhulk.
Oh yeah. And that's always the case when these blue-based decks have 6 mana untapped. It's always the danger. Okay, Gideon now for Javier Dominguez. That's a big threat. And I think we're Torrential Gearhulk range. There's the Gearhulk. There's a negate. Get rid of that. And Andre Straski just slowly taking control of this game. And now Javier Dominguez, release the Gremlins on Torrential Gearhulk and one of the Thopters as well.
I like it.
It makes his board that much bigger.
2 Gremlins, 2 less artifacts on the other side of the battlefield. But these players rocketing through their turns, and Anticipate here coming from Straski, who finds another copy of Torrential Gearhulk. Stick that Anticipate in the graveyard there. He's so keen to get onto his next turn every time. Just boundless energy coming from Andre Straski, at least in terms of his ability to play cards, if not energy in his energy pool.
Yeah, also he's really very much in a hurry because a lot of the matches in the tournament are already done. He just wants to make sure that he's going to win the game on time.
Yeah, I was talking to him the other day, and he was talking about how in the last year or so of playing at the top level, he's had 2 draws, and he feels like that's about 2 too many.
Yeah. He's usually a fast player, but sometimes he gets stuck in a way trying to make the right decision. And when that's combined with an opponent that is not fast himself, it can lead to some frustrating situations.
And that's exactly why, one of the reasons why Joel Larsson was describing that one of the challenges with the Teemo Energy deck is getting caught up in doing fancy things rather than simply doing just powerful things.
Yeah, definitely.
So Needlespire's coming in here, and another copy of Torrential Gearhulk from Andre Straski. That finds him a Glimmer of Genius, more energy, more scries.
Ooh, Unlicensed Disintegration. That's what I'm talking about.
Straski dropping to 2.
I think he's thinking about Radiant Flames here that he saw on top of his library. I think he's going to keep it.
Radiant Flames looks like kind of a good one.
Yeah, now he's going to use that to kill as much as possible. He's going to get another energy with that Ether Thief. Yeah, he just wants to kill the Thopters here. Straski is now throwing away all those Thopters because we know that he's going to try to go for that big Radiant Flames play.
Radiant Flames with X equals 2 is kind of nice for him here.
Yeah.
Gets to keep around his creatures, gets rid of what's on the other side of the board. Dynavolt Tower first. And you see there he signals this is a Radiant Flames for 2.
Yeah, make sure his Virtuoso stay alive and they can keep bashing. Straski just tapped a little low here. Has to be careful. He could die to another Unlicensed Disintegration because remember Javier can bring back the Scrappy Scroungers back anytime.
Chandra off the top would also be a win here for Javier Dominguez. If he's got shocks, they would also be a win.
No, just a Gideon. Just a Gideon.
We say just a Gideon, just one of the best cards in Standard, but it doesn't end the game immediately.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, Straski can probably just shoot any of the creatures. Yeah. Okay, he goes for all the Thopters. Glimmer
gets 4 energy from that. That's potentially another Thopter. He only needs 1 more spell to have another shot with Dynavolt Tower.
And he does have another Glimmer. I think he's deciding if he wants a tower, Dynavolt Tower that he
we all want a tower.
Who doesn't want a tower?
Not me.
Yeah, attack the Gideon. Remember that Clue token should be a Thopter. I think Andre is just trying to play as fast as possible. With time slowly winding down, I can't really see the clock. Yeah.
These players know that it's going to be close on time.
Yeah, so one's going to Javier, one is going on Gideon. And then Dynavolt Tower and a Virtuoso up to 7 energy. Spend 5 to kill the Gideon. So having 2 left. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay, first extra turn. That's why Andre Straski was in such a hurry.
Yeah, the big dice of doom lurking at the bottom of our screen there. That indicating what our turn count is. At the end of these 5 turns, regardless of anything else, this game will end, and as such, this match will end. At the moment, it's 1-1. These players 5-0. Neither of them wants a draw. Not like this.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely not like this. Javier did not draw an Unlicensed Disintegration or a Shock that would end the game right off the bat.
And Andre Straski has a lot of ways of generating energy here, which means that he can be drawing extra cards with that Shielded Ether Thief, or shooting Javier, or making more Thopters. All of these options, fantastic options.
Yeah.
I like what this energy deck's throwing out here.
Yeah, but once Andre gets to untapped with the Glimmer, that will net him 6 energy and 2 cards.
Needle Spires coming in.
Javier's desperate. He's trying to win here because he recognizes that if he doesn't do anything, he will not win.
It's always just the most frustrating when you get this close. Just 2 more points of damage needed. But Andre Straski, since we've joined this match, has been able to just assemble a gigantic board. Throws a whole bunch of Weller Virtuosos in front of Needle Spires. Only one of them dying.
All right, turn 2 of extra turns. Remember, there's only 5, so Andre Straski will get to attack this turn and the next turn. But then it'll be over. There's a Glimmer, so
that's 6 energy.
Total.
Scry's 2. There's a Shock as one of those cards.
Okay, I like Shock.
Shock feels like a lot of energy and a lot of damage.
Yeah. He's really close. I think he might have lethal here, because if he attacks with both Virtuosos, only one can. I think there's a Shambling Vent lurking behind. Yeah, so I don't think it might be lethal just yet.
Shambling Vent with its awkward toughness.
There's also Lumbering Falls though for Andre, if he thinks he can win this turn. Because if he animates Lumbering Falls and attacks, Javier can animate the Shambling Vent. Andre can shoot it. Then Andre will block the 3/3 with the 2/2, and Javier will take 6. And then Andre's still one short of winning with Shock and the Teamer, the Dynavolt Tower shot.
So there's a Harness Lightning ends up being one of the pickups from
that.
How does this change things for us?
I think Andre can definitely win if he gets to untap one more time. Just because he has double tower and he still has plenty of cards in his hand, so just shooting enough times should be a possibility, especially combined with the top tiers.
But he knows that there are a lot of cards that Javi Dominguez can draw off the top that will win him this game. 2 damage is not hard to find for these Mardu Vehicles decks.
Chandra, Unlicensed Disintegration, Shock even.
Those are the big 3.
Yep. Oh, come on, Javier, show us 2.
He knows that 2 Dynavolt Towers in play. He's on 10. End of turn, shoot you for 6, assuming that there's any spell to generate some more energy. Untap, potentially get up enough energy to just end it all with purely Dynavolt Tower damage.
What did Javier Dominguez draw? That's what I'm interested about. Okay, he's going to sack a clue because he played a Thraben Inspector. That gets sneaked into place one way or another.
Well, he's not slammed it, so I'm guessing that it's not an easy win. Now he's looking to see if there's a complicated win that he can find somewhere, or at least a complicated not lose for this turn.
Yeah.
Buy himself one more draw step.
He's like, this doesn't look too bad of a plan, as he kind of bopped his head around. So I think he wants to animate the Shambling Vent because I think he realizes he will need the 2 life points from that.
Depending on exactly how many spells Straski can cast, 12 might be the same as 10.
Okay, attacking with the Scrounger too. I mean, that just gives Straski more energy. I mean, if he's attacking with the Vent, Straski will block with the Shielded Ether Thief anyway. He should at least.
Dominguez just getting in with the Shambling Vent here.
Yeah, there are a lot of options here of what can happen, but Straski, Straski's not scared of dying here. Javier Dominguez is just trying to prolong the game as far as possible so that he can get the extra turn to draw the Chandra or Unlicensed Disintegration. Here's Straski, plays another Shielded Ether Thief. Will double block. Or triple block even.
Going to generate a whole bunch of energy.
All the blockers.
Better safe than sorry, right?
Exactly, yeah. Okay, just a better motorist from Javier. Okay, Andre's just not using.
Well, he left one on top with veteran motorist.
Okay, so
that's a clear sign.
Yeah, but it looks like I think Andre will double ping. Harness Lightning.
Harness Lightning for 0 to generate 7 energy seems like a pretty good start.
Yeah. Okay, or he can just ping the motors for 1. Might as well. It's 14. Okay, 16.
Yeah, there we go. Spend 10 of it. Down to 6 energy in total.
You're down to 6.
And he just needs to have any spell. Any spell will get him up to the 10 energy that he needs.
That was land, but I think he might have. I think because he has double lumbering falls, just 1. Okay, he's lumbering falls, and one of the virtuous we could block, and then it's an attack for 4. I think that's enough. And Javier is tapped out. So he has to block the 2 big ones. Takes 4, and then the tower finishes off the game with a lightning bolt to the face. Whew.
Andre Straski, not easy, and Javier Dominguez there revealing that the very next turn he was gonna have Chandra. He was gonna be able to close it out if he had one more turn, but
yeah,
it's a race, and he was too slow.
You know what? Standard's boring. This is boring stuff. Like,
well, if you want more boring stuff, we've got some adverts after which we do have Simon Neelson in to give us a little bit of a talk through one match that I've heard is frankly incredible. Right after these messages.